a split in Tororo district.
Well, certainly the fire-spitting legislators led by the West Budama South legislator Jacob Obothobo says that Parliament is not a tribunal where conflicts should be resolved.
Last year, a delegation comprising of government representatives, legislators and the local leadership of Tororo district were in the United Kingdom to establish the contested boundary between the Itesot and Japadola. The report, however, has not been made public.
It is common knowledge that when one demands for a new district and is given,
Tororo County has asked to become a district, insisting it includes Tororo municipality, which the leaders of the West Budama have disputed, cautioning Parliament not to dare follow the numerical strength of Itesots in the House.
For anybody to imagine that you can use the numeric strength of Itesots in Parliament, so the 2-3 Japadolas here, this Parliament, and I want to caution Parliament and members of Parliament, this Parliament can only resolve and debate on a matter, on a district request, on a motion where there is no dispute.
The legislators say Parliament is not a tribunal to cause a splitting of a district that has a conflict, and that causing the Japadola to be evicted from Tororo municipality to start a new district in Nagongera would be a grave mistake.
And not create a district where there is a conflict. They create a district where there is a resolution. Ask any of those people agitating my brother here where is the resolution creating a district as they want. There's nothing. Any attempt to do that, to remove away the Japadolas, that is suicidal. And I can tell you, if we fail here, we won't fail elsewhere.
Both and Ofono Yeri of Tororo municipality say the fights amongst themselves made them lose out on elevating Tororo municipality to a city status.
Start on a city. So, because of our selfish political ambitions, because we've deceived our people for long.
As the leaders of Tororo, I am urging them to support now the issue of Tororo municipality to be upgraded to city status. Because we are now in 221, we are going to have more MPs who are now going to argue for Tororo.
But Frederick Angura of Tororo South County says it is unfortunate that the Japadola legislators are changing goalposts at a time when Parliament is about to decide the fate of Tororo districts.
This is a matter of broad daylight robbery, which the people of Tororo County, you're aware, for the last 20 years have not been able to agree and have wanted this to be concluded to the latter and concluded when no one is cheating the other.
Angura also disclosed part of the resolutions of a meeting with President Museveni and the findings from United Kingdom, where a 10-man delegation went to confirm the exact boundary of the now Tororo municipality.
My senior colleague, Honorable Bothoboth, has been shifting goalposts every now and then. We had discussions on this issue, marathon discussions that were in Kisozi. We went to Rwaktura, we came to Entebbe, we had the Minister of Lands present the regional boundaries as had been requested by the two communities to ascertain the location of the municipality.
Joyce Bagala, Sam Ibanda Mugabi, NBS Live at 9.
Tribal tensions there between the Jabadola and the Itosets in Tororo district. It's quite disturbing to hear those, MPs speaking out with strong voices ahead of the elections. And joining us is Joseph Sabiti for some context. Joseph, thanks for joining us. When you hear Jacobo Bothoboth and other legislators, it's literally telling you that there's a thin line, the tribal tensions between the Japadola and the Itesots, they are just so thin that anything could erupt in Tororo. Well, what are your thoughts and perspective on what's going on in Tororo?
Well, it's quite a complex conflict that I think has been one of the hardest to settle. And to put more perspective to that, we're speaking to a research fellow at the Advocates Coalition for Development and Environment, an organization that has been conducting a lot of studies around the conduct of activities and business of local governments. Mr. Jonas Mbabazi, thank you for speaking to us. 5.1 trillion shillings returned to the Treasury from Tororo district. What impact do you think this has had on the functioning of the district?
This is one of the manifestations of the malfunctioning of the district. And it also shows that there are many other underlying issues that are affecting the performance of the district. And the conflict has been on top of some of those issues. Because of these conflicts between the Japadola and the Itesots, the district has not been able to have, for instance, a functioning district executive committee, and it is usually the district executive committee that appoints the district service commission. And as a result, the district has not been able to do recruitment of staff, around 155 teachers, and other technical staff within the district. And therefore, the district could not be able to absorb close to 5.1 trillion shillings allocated to that district in the financial year 2019-2020.
Okay.
And what that means is that the ordinary person who is supposed to benefit from a teacher deployed in a school, a health worker that is distributed in a health center, the ordinary person that is supposed to benefit from the services of such technical staff have not been able to get those services.
Okay, let's talk about the election period is here. And we know that Tororo has not had a substantive LC5 chairperson since the demise of Apollo Jaramogi. What are your projections for the elections?
The feelers on ground are that the locals are jeering protest participating in elections. But I want to advise that that would be a very dangerous move, because a protest in participating in elections will mean that there will be a leadership failure within the district. And according to the law, the president has powers to take over direct management of the district. And that is going to be the likely effect if at all there are no elections within the district. And if at all the elections take place, definitely there is a possibility of violence within elections, because the two conflicting groups, that is the Japadola and the Iteso, are likely to conflict on who then should be the leader. The contest has always been on who, for instance, is at the top of the district. And one group, especially the Iteso, feel that they have been marginalized, especially within the leadership structure of the district. They feel that they are not part of the main group that makes decisions at the district. Okay. They are not part of the district service commission. They are not part of the district land board. They are not part of the local government public accounts committee. And therefore, the decisions that are being made within the district circles are those that do not favor their interests.
My final question to you, Jonas. Why is there no solution in sight for this conflict? What are some of the practical solutions from your work, from your research as an organization that you propose as a way forward?
Well, before you jump to the solutions, we need to understand where this conflict is coming from. This conflict goes way back to around 1947, where these groups were demanding the split of their counties.
Okay.
And that led to the emergence of West Budama and Tororo County. Ever since these two groups have been able to coexist, they've been living together, they have intermarried, they have conducted business together. But in 1998, there was a resurgence of this disagreement.
Okay.
Where those, especially the Itoset that felt they were being marginalized within the distribution of resources, employment, service delivery, felt that they needed a district of their own where they can be able to be in control of their resources and be able to distribute resources amongst themselves.
Okay, we really need to go. Any solution in sight? If you can say that in about 10 seconds. Yes.
What we need for Tororo is sober leadership. We need leadership that is able to look beyond selfish individual interests.
Okay.
We need leadership that can be able to project a Tororo that is beyond 50 or 60 years. And that is a leadership that will look at a compromise that will provide a win-win situation for the two
Thank you.
groups.
Thank you very much. Thank you, Jonas Mbabazi. He's a research fellow at this organization hosting us this evening, the Advocates Coalition for Development and Environment, that has been doing a lot of work around the performance of local governments. Solomon and Mabel, we know that our bureau chief in Tororo, David Ochieng, will be doing a very comprehensive work around covering the issues surrounding the polls in Tororo, and will be having a very wide lens there in regard to that conflict that certainly will impact on the election process. But the question is, how long will the president take to act? Because we know that it is at his desk.